sometimes you can only reflect on the good old days of an app or platform you're using because nowadays, when you see the state of it, it's completely been taken over by the most unexpected people. And for me, one of those things is definitely VRChat. But that's because recently I made my first ever shift from a completely wired headset to a wireless one. I got a Pico 4. I got it because you don't get any in-your-face stuff compared to what Meta does when you get a Quest on your head. So it was definitely something that I would use with rarely anything other than VRChat because I'm still thinking about what I'd even put on it and what I'd even use in purpose other than watching YouTube videos and doing other conventional things that come with VRChat. So because of that, I was always wondering when using this headset, what else would I really do when being inside it when I'm to myself? Sometimes maybe I would see what's going on in some public worlds, and then I look at the state of the home menu and I look at the worlds, and the first thing about it is that there's no goddamn variety. Everyone's always playing the same things that they're always playing. None of these worlds are ever becoming anything other than the usual. Everyone's always playing the usual. I used to be able to go to VRChat years ago, look into some worlds that I found were interesting when searching through worlds, and I'd see that some of these instances were surprisingly there. There's somehow people inside these worlds actually looking at these worlds when I was looking for new interesting worlds at the same time. People actually went and decided to go places rather than stay in the same places where everyone else is located at. That's the first gripe I have because Jesus, it's like nobody wants to go anywhere original anymore. Everybody's in the same spot for degeneracy and behavior. And speaking of degeneracy, my next thing is what VRChat did themselves. If you're in VRChat in 2025 and you go to a public world, somebody's gonna throw something at you in the form of a picture on the ground, on the wall, or in the air, and that's a sticker. So stickers are this feature where someone can put up any picture that they probably have in a file or something. I don't know where they get it. Probably they can find an image link online, whatever the heck. They have this file. It can even be a GIF, and then they put it out for anybody to see. And you cannot turn stickers off in a setting. You can only turn stickers off in this world setting where you have to navigate every single instance you go to. You have to look for the instance settings. You have to manually turn it off. And sometimes it can't even be turned off. Like the host has some message there where it says that stickers can't be toggled off. You can only really toggle stickers off if you really wanted to by going in this very, very navigational area. And besides that, they're not even in their dedicated toggle in the settings. They're not even in the settings at all. So I can't do anything about it when I go into a world trying to meet people and I got this game dingling all in my face. That really pisses me off. And that's one of the things that turns me away from actually wanting to play it in the first place when I'm seeing how there's stuff that can be controlled and people are just going to disappoint you even more. Speaking of people disappointing you, this will be surprising to you guys, but no matter where else I am online where I like to be sociable, sometimes I'm just nervous in VRChat. I'm just completely nervous. I don't talk to anybody in public instances and I wait for people to talk to me. And a lot of times they don't talk to me. People are already in their own little circles and they're all huddled together, all talking on the same thing. I can't even enter a circle without somebody not being able to notice that I'm like there just waiting to be like talked to, and they don't even think that I'm interested to really like join the conversation. They just continue with their own combos. Even in that time, I would be in VRChat. I'd be waiting for someone to talk to me. I'd just be around these people huddled in circles. I'd just be like, I just be like listening to them because I'm like, interesting. When's my turn to somebody notice me so I can say something? Because other than that, I feel like I'm gonna bother people if I speak up. Because back only a few years ago, I can go into any nice, decent, active space. And I could go in there, I could see an ongoing little conversation going on, I could just add myself to it. I don't really feel any pressure. And nowadays, I have no willpower to want to go anywhere, say hi, and be presentable, because I see everybody locked in their own conversations. And it makes me think that greeting somebody would not go anywhere, so I'll wait for somebody to just come and talk to me. And another thing that you'll expect when getting to a public instance is just finding out that there are people who are just there to troll and do recording purposes just to put it on their TikTok or whatever and just try and be that rambunctious type of person. You notice that rambunctious energy when you see it. There are people acting a fool and really just being very rude and stuff, and you know when some people are there just to cause chaos. So it's just embarrassing and weird. I just don't like when I see that and I just leave the instance. Because when I find out this instance is partly filled with people who just want to be toxic and this and that, it's not what I was in for, so I'm just like, I'm gonna show myself out. This behavior in VRChat, just being like, a-holes and different things, has become so bad that I saw, for some reason, people are taking over these Roblox map ports. And when these worlds got taken over in public instances by toxic people, I decided to join it once, and I just heard nothing but just crazy, I don't know, I think foul language, all this other stuff being thrown around, crazy behavior. And as a result, the author of one of these types of worlds had to put out a public statement in their description of the world saying that they do not condone any of this behavior or something like that, and that that was not the purpose of his world, stuff like that. And of course, these are the types of people who usually throw the stickers. The people who even use the stickers at all are paying for VRChat Plus. So imagine paying for VRChat Plus just to throw a shaboing boing at someone's face and just be like, "Oh yeah, I'm wasting money on something, but it's worth it for ruining someone's day, I guess." I don't know. Crazy. You don't even know what goes on in their heads. And with all this and where you can go in VRChat, a part of me just gets so disappointed. And the fact that you're less likely to find casual English speaking players on a whim rather than going somewhere completely different, like a Japanese instance, and seeing that even though the language is different, the energy there is much more calm and relaxed. VRChat is one of those things where publicly you know where it was headed. Socially, yes, you know where it was headed based on how people become once they find out something which is free is able to be used to harm and bother others, and people who generally want to have a good time are just not seeing the same results that they expected or that they were used to a few years ago even. So it makes me think that I would rather get to know some people before getting to know them in the game. I would rather link up with people online through Discord or somewhere and find out if they're decent people, then using VRChat as one of the spaces that we can get along together and try and find out more about each other in seeing how we like to work with these worlds and what places speak to us, because I've done that before and it's nice getting to find out what someone enjoys in VRChat, just like they would adapt to stuff in anywhere else, except VRChat's just one of those places where they get to find out what world speaks to them. When they save a world, they get to find out what worlds they work with. They get to generally have their own enjoyments in saving worlds and favoriting worlds. It's just how it is whenever you put that together. And that's just how I feel about the safer route, the safer option, because I do not like how this turned out. And it's like, why would I bother anymore? Why bother? You have a needle in a haystack chance of finding a decent sounding person in a place where there are so many goddamn people around who are looking like they are in a playground compared to you. And now let me list how I do not understand the use of some of these words with their public use and what they have become culturally to the people of this game. The first thing is bars. Now I see bars and I see how they have only been locked to ID verification and mature, verification. And I just think about how all the things that go on in bars are not interesting nowadays. You can go into the VRChat bars and the conversation in there is like degenerate conversation or something. The things that go on in these videos where people enter bars, nothing's going on that's really interesting. You're just going to find either weirdos or people who just bring stuff to the conversation where you have the ability to troll them because you see like an exploitative detail in them that you can use for your own gain, something like that. I get confused, but it feels like bars aren't worth going into. If you get an ID verification, I feel like you don't even need to anticipate going into a bar. Going to a VRChat bar feels like you're just in for something where you're just gonna see sad people all around you. I don't know. I just don't see the appeal. And I feel like it's not made for you being someone who actually wants to click with people socially in this game anymore, if you have that spirit in you like me. Because going into a VRChat bar feels like you're gonna see a cesspool of people that have completely different lifestyles from yours. We start thinking if this is a waste of time. The next one that I've completely not understood and I'd like someone to really explain for me is the daycares. Now, it's already questionable enough why, of all the types of worlds you can put into VRChat, daycares are still prevalent. But even then, daycares in VRChat in 2025 are only ever used for weirdo behavior. And when I went into the daycares, I didn't know what to expect when I went to a public instance, and then I just heard a bunch of shouting from adults in there. And I'm like, what is the purpose of these worlds? What are you using it for? Are you using it for some sort of front for something else? Is it like a venting place? What's up with the atmosphere? Do you even want to use it for its atmosphere? What do you want to do with it? Do you even use it for like what you feel like you click with its comforting feel? Why are you in here yelling? The culture and the style around people using daycares in this game publicly in public instances and just having completely different behavior from what you did not expect when going in there. It's just crazy. I'm like, I go into there and I'm like, what the freak is this? Like, it makes no dang sense because I don't understand it. I just don't understand what goes into it. I don't understand why some people pick certain worlds. Maybe it's actually a group collective thing. They pick certain worlds and they just want to act their craziest in it and they plan it out. But I'll never know. I'll never truly know. Maybe you guys can fill me on that, but I don't even really watch that many VRChat videos to begin with in terms of the trolling and all the other stuff. But I definitely know that that's a place to stay away from as well because what purpose do you have going into a place like that other than wanting to role play? And even if you are role playing, what are you trying to get into with that role play? And another thing for me to go at is you shouldn't get your hopes up for VRChat raves. Because VRChat raves, it seems like no one's gonna talk to you there either. And it feels like everybody's in their own zone already when you join a VRChat rave world or DJ world. Everybody's dancing in a public instance. And when you go in there and you see everybody dancing, for some reason, they don't seem like they're gonna notice or be interested in talking to you in the slightest. I just notice it, I just want to get off of it, and I feel like there's no chance that I'm getting anything, so it just feels that way. So that's everything I want to let out, and it gives me no hope for feeling like I have any reason to join the game publicly anymore for myself. But of course, YouTube videos do the work for you in letting you see just how depraved it's really getting and how downhill it's really getting when you're not always checking it out for yourself, diving into it your own way. So thank you all for watching. You can let me know what you want me to cover in my next Clear of the Comments. And you can also tell me if you agree with and you can relate to the topic at hand. And I'll definitely enjoy what you guys have to say. Thank you for enjoying this segment of ACN Clear. And until the next one, ACN, we out.